What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today, when we talked about Palantir, I want to give you an overview of some of the current data points with their Q3 earnings as well right around the corner. I want to give you an overview of some expectations and where the price might be going. Before I get into any of that though, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So it did close 2.52% in the red, a lot of volatility. So 1529 is the high. That's basically what it did open as. And then 1456 is the low. There was a lot of optimism this morning, as you can kind of tell based on the pre-market, and that was as a result of SoFi and McDonald's earnings, but that was clearly shortly lived. And when it comes to volume, 46.5 million shares being traded, 47.7 is the average. At the time of doing this video, no recent SEC filings, press releases, nothing like that. So it was just piggybacking off the broader market, despite the Q2 earnings coming right around the corner. So that is Thursday, as you can see, November the 2nd. It is going to be before the market does open. So ultimately only 2 more trading days left before the earnings. So I'll give you an overview of some expectations. In case you do not know, there are several things people care about for earnings per share, revenue, future guidance. As it stands, I think the future guidance aspect for Palantir is going to be kind of the deciding factor, whether it's an overall success or not. Based on earnings per share, currently there's around 14 estimates with a consensus of 6 cents per share. And for revenue, it looks like 11 analysts with a consensus of 556.31 million. And that is up a little bit from the 555. So an analyst was a little bit more optimistic, and maybe that was as a result of a recent analyst rating. If you're all looking for a lot of good compiled information, such as analyst forecast ratings, take a look at Interactive Brokers, link in the description below, and also the comments for all of this to be completely free, including analyst ratings, forecasts, everything under the sun. But let's get right to some of the data points. Starting off with options, $9.85 million in calls versus 5.86 million in puts. So based on this, people are obviously optimistic about the foreseeable future. And even if we look at this, so the November 3rd expiry date, so that's going to encumber their earnings. And this is all the calls, the open interest. It is anticipated to be roughly between the $16.50 and $18 range. So clearly a nice bump up in the stock price. Vice versa, looking at the puts, people are anticipating for it to roughly be sub $13. So kind of have both extremes when it comes down to that. I'll give you an overview of what shorts are doing. Not here to say that it's going to be a squeeze play or anything like that, just using this as a benchmark. Short score is 46, utilization is 13.1, and as far as what shorts did today, they increased 273,000 shares. So the way I interpret this information, the fact that it was a red day and that they did increase, it does indicate that they feel that it's a realistic downtrend and justified. So that's just my own interpretation of Financial Advisor, of course. 8.21% of the free float is being shorted. 157.42 million shares overall are being shorted. And cost to borrow average is 0.26%. And this is kind of interesting to note though. So cost to borrow minimum is negative 0.81%. So obviously it does insinuate that there is brokers out there paying people to short Palantir. So kind of weird when it comes down to that, but no matter what, even with that, people clearly are not shorting it because obviously they see the risk versus reward isn't necessarily there for them to short it. So through the Interactive Broker, short availability does indicate that there's more than 10 million shares available to be shorted. So once again, today does signal that they kind of feel is justified, but if they really felt Palantir was going to just go down considerably, they have more than enough ammunition to increase their position. But with that, let's talk on some technicals. So right now with it at 1469, it is between this S1 and the pivot. So $14.30 is going to be that next strong support, and $15.50 is going to be the next strong resistance. So regardless of that, even if you zoom out, a lot of this does have wide gaps. So that does mean that there's going to be a lot of volatility. So of course, I do feel that, especially with the broader concerns that are happening right now and the Fed interest rate decision that's coming out at 2 o'clock on Wednesday, I do feel that most likely this 1430 might actually break. And so potentially it'll be trading between this 1350 and 1430 range up until the earnings. Of course, at that stage, it could be anyone's guess. Based on the options, they're assuming that it's going to stay around the 13-ish range, and vice versa. People are assuming it might be trading between this R1 and the R2. So it could be any different direction. I do feel that it will come down to the future guidance, like I mentioned. And just looking at a couple other data points, number of retail investors are getting out. So based on the dollar value of the overall volume today, shows institutions are buying Palantir, whereas retail is selling out. Stochastic, a little bit more of a bearish sentiment right now. now, so red line above the black, but it is considered oversold. So potentially that could work in Palantir's favor during the upcoming Q3 earnings and might cause a very fast, swift uptrend. So let me know your thoughts on Palantir in the comments below. Give yourself a shout out if you have been buying, selling, holding Palantir, or what you've been doing overall. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And one final thing, even though Palantir goes up, down, sideways, all over the place, take advantage of this promo, link in the description below and also the comments. Sign up for a free account with Moonwood, throw $100 at it though, and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So take advantage of this, link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, I appreciate all of you watching.